Hey, what's up, everybody? So, I literally just got back from vacation and woke up the other morning to quite a surprise. I was excited for the new patch, the new fractal, but what do you know? The next Guild Wars 2 expansion has been revealed. It's called Guild Wars 2 Secrets of the Obscure, and it's releasing in less than 2 months on August 22nd. Very, very exciting stuff. I was honestly buzzing with excitement the entire day. Did not expect this to drop on the same day as a big balance patch and a new fractal, but here we are. It was announced with a short teaser trailer alongside like 4 blog posts going into pretty extreme detail as to what we can expect with this expansion. Heaps of cool stuff in there, but if you can't be bothered to go through it all, that's what I'm here for. So I'm just going to break down all the new info for you, as well as talk about my thoughts on all this stuff. First order of business, the story. So we're finally going to find out what's going on with the Wizard's Tower. Now, I don't personally know much about this thing, but Crichton Herald on YouTube has a great breakdown. This thing has been hovering in the skybox since literally the launch of the game, with no explanation about what it is and what it's doing, but obviously something has now gone wrong, and the tower has been suddenly blown out of existence and demonic forces have begun to invade Tyria. Seems like the wizards were working in the background this whole time, keeping these demons known as the Cryptus at bay, and now we've got to find out what happened to them. Pretty interesting setup, to be honest, and I'm really excited for the prospect of the first non-Elder Dragon related story arc. Like, right off the bat, I really love the mystery of it all. In terms of locale, the 2 new zones will be set in the sky, one of which is the Skywatch Archipelago, a bunch of interconnected islands floating above Tyria. Reminds me a lot of the Sky Isles we saw recently in Tears of the Kingdom. The second map is a city called Amnetus. Here's some pics of what it looks like. Really looking forward to exploring this, but I do hope they've learned some lessons from Kaineng City, since that was also a massive city zone, but it did end up feeling a little empty in my opinion. Here's a bonus though, we're also getting a new hub area similar to Arborstone, which I wasn't expecting. And it is the Wizard's Tower itself. I'm really looking forward to having a new hub zone. As much as I love Arborstone, I think we're long overdue a change of scenery. Next, let's talk about Masteries, a staple of Guild Wars 2 expansions, which introduce new forms of horizontal progression and Metroidvania-style unlocks. The first is the Astral Ward, which are the major wizarding faction we'll be allying with. The website seems to indicate that we'll be joining them in bounty hunts across Tyria, increasing our standing with them for more hunts and more rewards. If you remember the bounty hunts in Path of Fire, they were basically mini bosses of varying difficulty with randomized modifiers. You join up with big groups of players to hunt them down across the maps. I really enjoyed these and always felt like it was a shame we didn't get more of them in future releases, so I'm really glad that they'll be back in some capacity. The Heart of the Obscure is another mastery. It'll be used to unlock special doors and chests, close rifts, etc. The usual lock and key stuff. But where it gets a bit spicy is that you'll apparently be able to use these to generate your own ley lines and updrafts. These were introduced in Heart of Thorns as ways to gain more height while gliding, but they're about to get a new level of importance here as we talk about the third mastery, the Sky Scale. But Bloom, we already have the Sky Scale. How is this new? So the Sky Scale, for those who don't know, is Guild Wars 2's only true flying mount, kind of. And currently it's kind of a pain in the ass to get. Well, in Secrets of the Obscure, not only will the Sky Scale now be way more accessible, as you'll get it pretty easily through the new story, I imagine, we're also getting some cool new masteries to go along with it. For example, you'll now be able to mount it while you're in combat. That's neat, but it gets even better because you'll also be able to shoot fireballs from it. Here's a picture of what that looks like. As a bonus, those updrafts and ley lines I mentioned will now also work with your Sky Scale. Not only that, but all those things that I mentioned will also apply to your Griffin mount. Really awesome stuff. I definitely get the impression the entire expansion is going to revolve around our flying mounts, and I'm very keen to see what they do with that. However, I do wonder if they'll also adjust the current method of getting the sky scale to be a little more in line with this newer method. The sky scale really was the reward for like all the Living World Season 4 stuff, so it'd suck if that acquisition method is sort of just left in the dust. So those are the maps and masteries. Alongside those though, we'll of course be getting the new instance content. This includes 2 new strike missions, which is our 10-man content, as well as a new fractal dungeon, which is our 5-man content. I'm actually surprised that we're getting a new fractal so soon and not in like a later patch, as we just got the new one this week. So that's a nice bonus, and we'll also be getting challenge modes for all that content in subsequent patches. But that's just the content, man. I mean, we haven't even gotten into the meat and potatoes, the stuff I'm really, really excited about. So let's start with rewards. Oh my goodness, here we go. Introducing the Wizard's Vault, aka the trading post from WoW, aka a battle pass, except not shit. Basically how this works is we'll be getting a bunch of daily, weekly, and quarterly achievements scattered across all game modes. You go on and complete these achievements, I assume in like any order you choose, to get an account-wide currency called Astral Acclaim, which you can then use at a special shop in exchange for rewards such as weapon skins, armor skins, gem store items, materials, and earnable mount skins. Oh my god, we've finally made it. Here's the cool thing though, there's not really any FOMO attached to this system, unlike the WoW trading post. All the items that rotate into this store will just rotate out into a legacy section of the vault, where they'll be available for purchase forever. There's also no paid upgrades for this and no progression skips whatsoever. Just fantastic. So in fact, it's not really a battle pass at all, since battle passes typically have this really lame linear progression to them. The cool items are usually slapped around the end of the battle pass, so if there's a cool hat you want, all you can do is grind and grind to level 97 or whatever it is to get that one item you like. There is basically no player freedom involved, and you're also on a time limit before that thing is gone for good. Not so here. You've got plenty of agency to choose how you want to earn that currency and where you want to spend it. I've been advocating for a system like this for ages, honestly, since one of Guild Wars 2's biggest problems, I think, is goal setting. You ever just log in, sit around in Mistlock for like 15 minutes twiddling your thumbs, realize you don't know or can't decide what to do, and then you just log out? This happens a lot to me and also to the friends that I've introduced to the game. And man, I'm just so keen to have these regular goals set out so you can just keep playing to your heart's content and feel like you're constantly working towards something. Something aside from just raw gold and legendaries. Speaking of legendaries, oh boy, bet you didn't see this coming. We're getting a new legendary armor set. This one focused on open world activities. And yeah, I mean, just look at it. It looks super sexy. I love it. So if you're new to Guild Wars, this is the most prestigious form of gear that become available for all of your characters when you get it. You can literally just grab them out of the ether to equip to any character. You can swap the stats whenever you want. You can transmog them for free. There's an existing set in PvP, in World vs. World and raids, and now there's one for if you're lazy. No, I'm just kidding. I think this is cool. Those modes I've mentioned aren't for everyone. They require a high level of commitment and coordination that not everyone is into or has time for. I do think it's a shame that there's now less incentive for people to try raids though. In fact, the materials for crafting the Envoy gear already kind of involved you doing open world stuff anyway. So that was kind of the catch-all PvE legendary set. But yeah, nevertheless, it's great that there's now a method of getting legendary gear that's a bit more accessible and also folds better into a core part of the game, that being open world meta events and world bosses and that sort of thing. After all, I feel like one of the best elements of Guild Wars 2 is buildcraft, and once you've got legendary gear, you can properly play around with builds. You can explore your options to see what you enjoy, or theory craft with balance patches and whatnot. Having more players able to experience that side of the game is a net positive in my opinion. Besides, I'm sure it'll still be a pain in the ass to grind, so I really don't think this will cheapen the prestige of legendaries or whatever. And speaking of Buildcraft. Man, I'm nailing these segues today. Let's talk about the new combat features coming with Secrets of the Obscure. You want to get nuts? Let's get nuts. Because man, ArenaNet kind of went absolutely off the rails for this, I'm going to be honest. Weapon Master Training. So weapons tied to specific elite specializations within your class will now be made available baseline. So what does this mean? It means that the hammer you love so much on Scrapper, you can now use it while spec'd into Mechanist. You can run around as a Willbender wielding a longbow. You can flip around as a Daredevil with a rifle if you want to. A Scourge with a goddamn greatsword, why not? ArenaNet, you are truly unhinged. There was speculation that something like this was going to happen, but the more I thought about it, the more I was convinced it was like impossible. But here we are. I hope you're all ready because, I mean, this opens up a rather insane amount of Buildcraft. Like, I can't even fathom the amount of balance patches this is going to require to clean up. I mean, ArenaNet really have got their work cut out for them this time. Better yet, we can already start experimenting with this system. There's a beta running from June 29th to July 2nd. So yes, I'm playing it right now, and it is just as bonkers as it sounds. Log in now and give it a try. It's a little scuffed at the moment in some areas, but I just admire the balls on ArenaNet to open this up. It just allows for so many unique combinations. I'm so excited for this feature. But man, we are not done yet. Because in the second patch of the expansion, roughly 6 months after the launch, we'll be getting expanded weapon proficiency. In other words, new weapons available for every class. I'm talking pistol for Elementalist, rifle for Mesmer, dual swords on Necro. Warrior might finally be getting a full support weapon with staff. Maybe. I'm probably going to go back to Guardian because, no joke, they're getting dual pistols and your boy wants to blast. And keep in mind that the weapon proficiency system still applies to these new weapons. You can combine them with any spec. Absolutely bonkers. On top of all of this, there's also going to be a rune rework. So you know how when you get runes for your gear, you need to get all 6 to get the unique set bonus at the end. So there's kind of a strict limit on the options you have, since there's a very limited number of runes that have the right combination of stats with the little final set bonus that you'd want. Well, just like the elite spec weapons, that's now untied. Runes will largely work the same, except the 6th tier bonus will no longer have that unique perk on it. It'll just be the final stats. That unique perk is being moved to a new item slot called a relic. This becomes usable at level 60. All the bonuses you enjoyed before will still be available, some even buffed or changed a little bit. It'll just be a separate item now that you can get through crafting, instance content, etc. They state there'll also be expansion exclusive relics, both at launch and in future releases. So you know how End of Dragons was missing like new rune sets? Well, maybe your superior rune of the Mechanist bonus will soon appear here as a relic. I think this is really cool. There are so many runes in the game that I've literally never touched or used because, you know, the combination just isn't right. But now I can have my rock dog forever if I want to. I can spawn golems, so many cool stuff that I'm looking forward to trying out. This reminds me a lot of the Diablo 4 aspects in some elements, you know, just having this separate slot where you can add extra bonuses and, you know, it's just an extra element of Buildcraft. So while we're not getting any full new elite specs like we've had before, as ArenaNet previously alluded to, this is a great compromise. In fact, I think this is way more than I expected, to be honest. That's like 9 new spec/weapon combinations per class by the end of this expansion cycle. Yes, not all of them are going to be meta or good or whatever, but, you know, the options are there. Class fantasy be damned. I just think it's cool. And when you factor in the new relic system, there's just going to be many more build options. It's just crazy. So that's all the info we've got so far on Secrets of the Obscure, as well as my thoughts on, you know, random parts of it. It's no secret that I haven't been super impressed with the latest content releases, but I'm going to be honest, I'm a sucker for hype culture, and on paper, everything they've announced here looks really cool. I'm not going to lie. Needless to say, I couldn't be more hyped for this expansion. It's shaping up to be the perfect kickoff into this new era of Guild Wars 2, and I do mean the new era. I cannot cannot overstate just how much this expansion is going to change the game forever. The new story arc, new reward systems, and an unprecedented amount of new buildcraft options mark this expansion as quite the turning point for the game, and I personally cannot wait to see where it lands. Anyway, that's the video. Probably a little late, but oh well. Let me know what you think of Secrets of the Obscure in the comments below. Would love to hear everyone's thoughts and open up some discussion in there. Thanks as always for watching, and I'll catch you guys later.